In this video, we'll be comparing the concatenate function and the concat function and the TEXTJOIN function, which are three concatenation functions that we have in Excel. So starting with the concatenate function is the oldest concatenation function that we have in Excel, and it's available in all Excel versions. And concatenation in Excel is simply gluing or joining text together. For the concat function has been introduced in Excel 2016 and is intended to be a replacement for the concatenate function. And if you write equals concatenate, you will see here that there's a yellow warning triangle beside the concatenate function here, which means that the concatenate function is a legacy function and it will be removed from future Excel versions. It's only available for backward compatibility with older Excel versions. And if you write equals concatenate and press F1 on your keyboard to go to the help for the concatenate function, you'll see here an important notice, which is that in Excel 2016, Excel Mobile, and Excel for the web, this function has been replaced with the concat function. So the concat function is intended to be a replacement for the concatenate function. And although the concatenate function is still available for backward compatibility, you should consider using concat from now on. This is because concatenate may not be available in future versions of Excel. So from now on, you should be using the concat function instead of the concatenate function, and we'll show also why it's a better function than the concatenate function. And then we have the TEXTJOIN function, which actually is the best function of these three functions and the most powerful one, and it's only available in Excel 365 or Excel 2021. So let's see what the difference is between these three functions. So we have here some information for Bob, Lee, and his age and his salary. And let's say that we need to glue this information together or join all this text together. So if we use the concatenate function, so equals concatenate, we'll need to provide the information one cell at a time. So need to provide Bob and then comma and then the cell containing Lee here, C12, and then comma and then his age and then comma and then his salary, and then close the brackets, press enter, and you'll see here that we managed to glue all that information together here. But with the concat function, you're able to give it not each cell individually, but you're able to give it the whole range of cells here just as a single range. Close the brackets, press enter, and you can see here that you get the same result. So you can see here that there is a time-saving element here when using the concat function, because you don't have to provide the cells one by one, but you can just provide the whole range and it will do the same job as the concatenate function and glue everything together. So what happens if you give a whole range to the concatenate function, just like we do in the concat function? So if you give it a whole range and press enter, you'll see here that the result that you get is an array actually of values, and they are not even concatenated or glued together. They are just an array of individual values here. And this is an array, and this means that I'm seeing this because I'm using Excel 365. But in case you're using a version other than Excel 365 or Excel 2021, then you won't see that result. You'll actually get a value error unless you press Control, Shift, and Enter after highlighting the four cells that you'll have the results in. So you'll highlight the four cells that you'll have the results in and then press Control, Shift, and Enter to get this same result, which is not even the intended result, because the intended result is having the text glued together, while this result is not the text glued together. It's just the individual pieces of text. So you can see here that the concatenate function has a disadvantage when compared to the concat function in the fact that you cannot provide it with a range. You need to provide it with the individual cells one by one. So I'll just press Control and Z here on my keyboard to go back to the old formula. So what if we need to have the information here separated by a delimiter, such as a space, for example? In case of the concatenate function and the concat function, it's actually the same formula. You need to provide the first cell and then a space here, which we would call the delimiter. The delimiter is what you would put between each piece of text that you're gluing together. So we'll put the space here after the first name, and then we'll put the space after the last name, so a space between double quotes, and then we'll put a space here after the age and press enter, and you can see here that we get Bob and then Lee and then 35 and then 60,000 with a space between them. And you'll need to use the same formula as well. If you use the concat function instead, you need to put a space between each element manually one by one. However, this is when the TEXTJOIN function comes into play and where it's so powerful, because with the TEXTJOIN function, you get to tell it what your delimiter is. So you'll give it the space, which is going to be our delimiter here, and then you have an argument or an input here to either ignore empty cells or include empty cells. So this is useful if you have empty cells amongst your values. You can just ignore them and only join or concatenate or glue the cells that are not empty, or you can also include the empty cells. Either way, we don't have any empty cells, so that won't make a difference for us. We can just choose to ignore empty cells. And then here you can give it the text, and you can give it either a single cell, so I'll give it a single cell for that one, and then you can give it also a range. So you can give it either a single cell or a range, as you can see here. Close the brackets and press enter, and you can see here that you get the same result here. So this is where the TEXTJOIN function is much more powerful, because you just give it the delimiter once, and then you give it the text that you need to put the delimiter in between, and you just close the brackets, press enter, that you get the same result. So the TEXTJOIN function is actually the most powerful of all these functions, and definitely if you have it, you should always use it instead of the concat and the concatenate function. And of course, if you don't need a delimiter at all, or if you don't need any space, you can just give it an empty string here, so just 2 double quotes and press enter, and you get your result without a delimiter here. I'll press Ctrl and Z to undo that formula. So in this video, we've explained the difference between the concatenate function and the concat function and the TEXTJOIN function. If you've watched to this point on the video, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of all the future videos. And also, please make sure to follow us on the different social media platforms. You'll find the links down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.